following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Blowing out of the backfield, exploding down the sideline.
This is Hangin' with the Boys, presented by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Now, your hosts, Nate Newton, Kurt Daniels, Jesse Holley, and Shannon Gross.
What's going on? What's happening? You are joining the livest, dopest, hottest show on the .com network, Hanging with the Boys. As you can tell, our fearless leader is not with us today, so your boy Jay Holly jumped in the seat. You're looking at a live shot at the Tostitos. What do they call us again? Tostitos Field? Championship Plaza. Yep. It's looking a little gloomy out there, but right now it's 57 degrees, a high of 70 today. I don't know if we're going to get there. It looks a little, some wet in some areas. A little rain. Rain is good this time of year.
True.
And this is going to sound old manish of me, but the grass needs it. You know, get some irrigation to happen. They got the treatment down, got some seeds down. So I need a little bit of rain to happen. Let's start this show off this way.
Yes, sir.
And I would be remiss if I did not do this. Thoughts and prayers with the family and friends of Miss Marilyn Love.
Yes.
If you are affiliated in any way, shape, or form with the Cowboys, whether that is media, coaching, anything, you've come across and you've had to deal with, in a good way, Miss Marilyn. And if you've done anything with Jerry Jones,
you know her.
You know Miss Marilyn.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And whether that's Jerry's on the show, he's signing something for you, he's meeting you. And we lost her last week, and Deion said it best. Deion, in the quote, Deion said that Miss Marilyn for Jerry Jones is the best cover corner in the world. So, and I'll briefly tell, when I came here in 2009, instantly connected with Miss Marilyn. And Miss Marilyn, I remember when I had surgery, I got back home, there was a fruit basket of flowers from Miss Marilyn. I lived in 5 different cities since I've been here since 2009. I've gotten a birthday card every single year from Miss Marilyn. I've never given her my address.
Wow.
But that's just the kind of person that she is. And so we want to just take a moment, T's and P's, to Miss Marilyn Love. You got any stories about Miss Marilyn?
Man, she used to, and this is weird because she used to babysit my oldest boy, Trey, Nathaniel Newton III. Yeah. Every time I would get out the car and go into the old Cowboy Center, I would just turn him loose, and he would find his way to Miss Marilyn. And Miss Marilyn either come over the speaker or I'll go back over there. Everything all right, Miss Marilyn? Yeah, he's being a great little kid, man. Tell Dorothy she's doing a great job. Because she was just like that, man. She looked to this, like you say, man, every time I would see her in the halls or anywhere, especially these last few years, how was Trey? How is Trey doing? Oh, that boy, that was a good baby, and da-da-da. And she was just like that, man. And, and my wife mentioned it the other day, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We had when I was going through my treatments and all that, word got to her, and she had food sent to the house for a week. And it was like, I have a kind of a large family, but she sent, people were pulling up with the food saying, "You having a party tonight?" I mean, it was enough for 50 people.
Right.
But she was just a wonderful lady. And then, working with her with interviews and things like that, she was always so sweet. It was definitely be missed.
She will definitely be missed, and you just don't have people like her left in the world. There are some good people out there, but people like Miss Marilyn, who is just selfless and has the heart as big as the star. And I know we get on Mr. Jones, Jerry, a lot. We're on them, front office move, stuff like that. This is one of those things that hurts. Jerry can stand in front of all the media he wants when you lose somebody like that you had by your side every waking moment, basically for 40 years, that's like almost, that's wife level, husband level type relationship, because she handles everything. And so we're praying for her family and we're praying for the Jones. All right, now that we got that stuff,
you got people
discussed,
fired up.
Yes, I want to jump right into it.
They're waiting.
I want to jump right into it.
They want to know if you're coming with that fire today.
Of course, and I told them is a horny baboon's butt pink. If you want to know if I'm coming with that fire, answer that question.
Oh my goodness!
This dude sit up and practices in front of a mirror because you just can't come off the top of your dome with that.
This morning I came up with that this morning.
Yeah, you're right. You practiced that too. You practiced that.
He knew he was hosting for like over 24 hours.
Yeah, so he practiced that. He started right in the mirror.
I need my team to support me. I don't need the negativity today. I need my team to support me when I'm
We support you, baboon man.
Yeah,
Don't worry, we are.
All right, so I get it. Everyone has looked across the landscape, and the Cowboys have done kind of the opposite of what everyone has wanted the Cowboys to do. And you've heard talks of this player being let go, this player not getting paid, so on and so forth. And you starting to see the chips falling. Most recently, Amari Cooper was traded, to the Cleveland Browns for a couple bottles of water.
Pick,
swapping of the 6th round picks and the man they pick up a lot of his contract this year.
Amari for a 5th.
And one of the things that I've been saying, and I've been texting you guys privately, and I said it on Twitter, is the Cowboys are setting the table. The Cowboys are setting the table. And they'll never come out publicly and say it. But when you look at how this thing is playing out, and it looks more like Steven is getting more and more inserted into that driver's seat, where he's making a lot of decisions opposed to what kind of how Jerry did things. And this team hasn't always been a big free agent team. They haven't been a big team that's going to go out and sign major free agents. This is not how they've done work. But they normally try their best to keep their star players.
Yeah.
And now you see Amari Cooper, who I regard as one of the best route runners in the National Football League. You hear the talks now of Tank Lawrence he was already asked to take a pay cut, and he said no. Smart man. Yeah. And we'll get more into that later on in the show. Lyle Collins had been given permission to go out and search a trade.
Yeah.
So you start looking around the table and you see, okay, we signed, Michael Gallup, which basically it's a 5-year, $62 million deal, but it's basically a 2-year, $27 million deal. Like if we're talking about just the raw numbers of it, it's $27 million guaranteed over the first 2 years, and after that, there's no more kind of guaranteed money or stuff like that. So it's basically a 2-year deal, $27 million. They'll probably go back and fix that later on if he's playing above that.
That's when CD's contract will be due, right? So.
Yeah. So when I say that the Cowboys have begun to set the table, I'm going to start with my boy first. This thing is becoming what they call an organic tank.
Organic tank, okay.
Where if I just stop giving you pieces, you won't be able to compete at the highest level. Games that you should win, you might skeet out a game, but you might lose it as well.
All right.
I'm getting rid of some of these heavy contracts. We know that the cap number will go up even higher next year.
Yeah.
You'll now be able to do something with the kind of unmanageable salary of your boy, Ezekiel Elliott, next year.
Yeah.
You got a team-friendly kind of deal with CD still being on his rookie contract. Michael Gallup, you hope, will be able to play through, it's taking about a year or so to get over that ACL injury. If you get rid of Tank, now you open up some more money there.
For 2023.
For 2023.
2024, yeah.
Lyle has no more guaranteed money due to suspension.
Did they void? Yeah, because they voided.
Yeah, they voided that.
Yeah.
So he has. That's why they asking you want us to trade by.
So This team is setting the table for Sean Payton.
Think so, huh?
This team is setting the table because what they're going to do is they're going to give Sean Payton because
building for 2023.
We already know that this team, if it doesn't win a Super Bowl or at least get to a Super Bowl, Mike McCarthy doesn't have a chance to be here next year. They were talking about trying to get rid of him this year. So imagine going into next year and you don't get to an NFC Championship game or a Super Bowl game. You've basically said, sorry, my guy. And then now, on top of that, Kellen Moore, you're going to have to show him proof. You're going to have to show him proof, or your experiment is now over. Because I will bet any amount of money. The moment you hire Sean Payton, there will be no Kellen Moore offensive coordinator, nothing. Only thing he'll be coordinating is where the moving trucks will park on his block. Sean Payton ain't giving that power up. And I think when he comes in, the Joneses are going to kind of do a la what they did with Bill Parcells. Allow him to come in. Because Sean Payton is at a position where he can call those shots. He can come in and says, listen, if you guys want me to come, I'm going to need a little bit of control. I ain't trying to say I need to be the GM, but I need to pick the guys that I want. And this has been a love affair for the Joneses, particularly Jerry Jones, for a long time.
Yeah.
And now that he is, quote unquote, available or will be available or however that thing shakes out, when Sean Payton comes in, he's coming in with he ain't coming in to reload or to regroup. He coming in guns a-blazing. So they're clearing some cap. They're giving him money in 2023 that he'll be able to go to the grocery store, buy the groceries, so that he can be the ultimate chef when he gets to cook things up in 2023 and beyond.
You're not painting a very positive picture for 2022 here. Are we in trouble?
2022 is over.
Oh, wow.
Because can you just write this down right quick, like?
Sure.
Just write it down, in your abbreviated way you do things, being an editor and everything. No offensive line.
Yeah.
No wide receivers, because Gallup is not going to start the whole year next year.
Right.
Amari is gone. You have CeeDee Lamb, and they hope to re-sign the other kid.
And it's looking like Cedric Wilson won't come back either. Right. Like the market may say something different.
Yeah. Now, you have a tight end.
Yeah.
That is a decent pass catcher and can't block.
Horrible blocker.
Can't block.
Right.
You have no, as of right now, no proven defensive ends. As of right now, no. Because
you're not counting.
If you don't work out nothing with D-Law, he don't care. Not at this point.
Oh.
He want his money. Gregory, everybody's going with the hometown, but Gregory say, well, okay, I'm this age. It may not be another, so I can't give a hometown. Maybe he will. I'm not saying he won't.
There's word this morning that Denver's getting ready to make him a big offer.
Right.
Gregory.
So now, and I talked to Kyle Yeomans this morning, and how do you can't draft or sign top-notch free agents because you're getting rid of guys so you can be under the cap. So
you currently only have one linebacker.
That's it.
The rest doesn't have a contract.
So all you have now is some corners, a linebacker, a half an edge rusher, and no proven run stoppers.
Mm.
And Javon Curse hasn't been signed yet.
Yeah.
He's still out there.
So I'm not going to go to the depths that Jesse going.
Why not? Why not?
The reason because sometimes things that look creamy and nice ain't always that way. As much as I love Sean Payton, because one thing I've always respected about Coach Payton, check his O-line history. He refuses to put a quarterback out there without a O-line. Check that his O-line history. Check it. It's always been sweet.
But see, I think they have no choice but to address O-line in this draft
Yeah.
Because when you look across, if you let Lyle go, if you know Tyron's going to miss three to 4 games.
Right.
So they're going to address O-line in the draft. They're going to address that in the draft. 100%.
Yeah, multiple, both interior and tackle, I would hope.
You sure?
But there's only so much that you can Amari didn't yield back a second and third round pick,
Yeah.
When you start talking about 5th and 6th round picks, those guys, they can make their way up, but the likelihood of them helping your team, and then you take that rookie class, it takes some time, it takes some acclimation to get going as a rookie.
Yeah.
So I just look at, when 2022, I look at this team being in such influx where a lot of pieces are missing, pieces are trying to grow. You're still trying to figure out what quarterback's coming back. And this is just me, and I'm not piling on. But if Kellen Moore struggled to have a successful and explosive offense with weapons, with Amari, with CD, with Gallup, with Pollard, with Ezekiel, with Lyle and Steele and the Butcher and Tyron and all those guys, what is he going to do when he doesn't have them?
Oh, man.
I tell you like this here, fellas. This year cannot be ignored, and you need players. And middle of the road players are great when you have 2 or 3 stars on offense, 2 or 3 stars on defense, and you have above average offensive line and a great defensive line. Then you can go with the middle of the road players. Yeah. But if middle of the road players are your starting players, it's not going to work.
We've been down this road before, just offensively, when they decided to release Des Bryant. This is why we had Amari Cooper come in the first place.
Yeah,
because we thought, receiver by committee, we could do it. And this is no shot at Dak. Dak is who he is, but Dak isn't the quarterback that's going to make the average guys around him play above average. He's not that. Like, we always reference back to like Aaron Rodgers and those type of guys because we've seen Aaron Rodgers. I've seen Aaron Rodgers go out there and win 10, 11, 12 games, playoff games, with Ty Montgomery as your starting running back.
Yeah.
And having a Randall Cobb and some other guys, a young Devontae Adams, not Devontae Adams
right.
now,
a
young Devontae Adams, and having to make things happen with less than. He's not that guy. Like, he's not that guy that's looking to say, oh, if you give me less, I can make more. He's the guy that says, if you give me more, I can work with that.
Yeah. So are you saying? I guess we're saying the window has closed. Or is this kind of a rebuild in some ways?
Some people don't want to use the word rebuild. Some people say it's a reload.
Reload. Yeah.
Reload to what?
But
you can't get 25 players.
It's a reload to that now that when Sean Payton comes next year, once we fire some guys, and Sean Payton comes, that Sean Payton has a little bit of the card to work with.
He has the cap space.
He has the cap space. He may have some draft capital. He has some positions to fill so that he can put together the team that he feels and deems can go out there and be successful and not have to kind of clean house with other people's old rosters and so on and so forth. You can't find all those players, but what you try to do is I think a conversation has been had with Sean Payton, and it's kind of like, what do you need? What do you? If you were, we're not saying that you were, but if you were to be our head coach, what would you need? And I think the first thing is that I need to be able to control the guys that I bring in and don't bring in, and the team that I build.
But see, Jess, I love how you're talking, and and the wishing well is deep and plentiful. But what if they don't get Sean?
Then they got this, and it's a great point.
Yeah, what if they don't get Sean?
It's a great point. It's the reason why Jerry said what he said this year as well. Because if I can't get Sean, then I'm gonna fall right back onto my boy DQ, who's already in the building.
In there, yeah.
So I'm still going to give the next guy cap space, flexibility, roster space to go out there and sign who they have to sign.
So why wouldn't they start now? Why wait a year under a dead man walking of McCarthy? Why not just cut bait and start it now?
With Mike?
Yeah. Why not? If you're gonna bring in Peyton or Quinn, whoever, why not start that process right? If you're trying to open a new window now.
I think Sean Payton does want that year off. I think he wants a year off to go, whether it's go do TV or relax or just refresh or whatever it is. I think he does want that year off, and I think the Cowboys at times, look at hiring Mike McCarthy and saying, 'cause there's a level of you want to make sure you're right. You don't want egg on your face with this situation because now you hired Mike McCarthy and you thought that he was going to be able to bring you to a place of success, but I'm sure he thought the same thing.
Yeah.
And then he gets here and he realizes things aren't what I thought they were going to be. I don't care how much film you watch, you realize just the kind of machine that the Cowboys are.
Yeah.
And you have to adapt to that. You have to adapt to your GM and your owner having radio shows throughout the week. You have to adapt to the constant media attention throughout the week, the months, the years. You have to adapt that every little thing that happens to your football team will be magnified times 10. You have to adapt to the fact that you're going to be the A block on every single one of these 3-letter, 4-letter word shows throughout the week. And you have to deal with certain things that you may not have had to deal with before. See, all that stuff, You don't find that out in your interview process. You don't find that out from afar. You don't find that out from watching film until you are in the middle of the storm. That's when you find out just how violently this storm can be on trying to be the controlling figure of a football team.
Yeah.
So
that does everything by committee. That does everything by committee.
What do you mean?
Well, you draft players by committee. You set up the game plans, and not so much your game plan for the players, but some of your game plan as an organization by committee.
You realize that there's a lot of hands in the kitchen.
That's what I'm saying. With Sean Payton, from what I understand, where he comes from and what he built at the Saints, it was his way.
Yeah.
It's in Kansas City. It's the head coach way. Carroll, that's why your boy's sitting in Denver, because Carroll had enough. You see what I'm saying? In Seattle, bye. See, everybody, you don't come to Dallas and get to say hi and bye to whoever you want. He's like, somebody we're gonna bring a few girls in the room that you may not know. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think you look at Sean, and he comes from that Bill Parcells tree, and he can make that phone call to Bill, and they understand what they had to deal with Bill, and realize it's probably gonna be the same thing that we had to deal with Sean, and maybe we can kind of bite our tongues a little bit and give Sean a little. So
what we supposed to do? Go to sleep for a year, Jesse?
No, just try to find a way to enjoy the season 4 year. But we're going to take our first break.
Let's take the red pill. I feel like what's that movie with Matrix? Lord,
yeah, we'll take our first break right here. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about the Amari Cooper trade. We'll talk a little bit more about the Michael Gallup trade. Is Michael Gallup a number one receiver? Is he the guy that you can say, hey, we're coming to you, buddy. Make a play for us. Right. So stay with us right here on Hangin' with the Boys.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Brace yourself for an existential question. Has your butt been having enough fun lately? Have you been treating it well? Has it been going places? If not, then it's about time you start using SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best way to get your butt tickets to live events. Just ask the thousands of other butts who have rated it the #1 ticketing app. So what are you waiting for? Download the app now or visit SeatGeek.com to get tickets to sports, concerts, and live events and make your butt happy. SeatGeek. Get your seat in a seat.
It's game day. You know what that means. First, kebab prep. Steak, pepper, onion, steak, pepper, onion. Next, a counterclockwise lap around the room. Now the lucky grease-stained jersey goes on. And lastly, the dance. You know the one. This is a game day ritual no matter where you are. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com and keep the tradition alive and well. Hotels.com. proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
At AT&T, everyone, new and existing customers, get our best deals on every smartphone. Why? Because you deserve it. For turning your living room into your office and your gym. For teaching Grandma how to video call and teaching her again.
It's the button on your left, Nana. Okay, your other left.
It's not complicated. Everyone deserves something new. So AT&T is giving everyone, new and existing customers, our best deals with every unlimited plan on every smartphone, even the latest ones.
AT&T may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Restrictions and exceptions may apply.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us on Hanging with the Boys. And Hanging with the Boys, you know we can't do this without the great fan support, but we can't do it without the great money support. And this hour is brought to you by Wingstop, or presented to you by Wingstop. Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Don't sell me those thighs, but give me those wings, baby. Give me those wings. All right, so now we moved on from the Cowboys setting the table for Sean Payton in 2023.
Depressed everybody.
Not me.
I am the voice of reason.
Until I see him, then I ain't gonna worry about it.
I am here to keep it real with y'all as best I see it. Now, I could be wrong, but
What if McCarthy has a lesser roster and a tougher schedule and reaches the playoffs?
We've done that. Been there, done that.
Yeah, still not
Like
not gonna matter.
No. Now, if he takes a lesser roster and a tougher schedule and gets to the NFC Championship game, now things get a little freaky.
Yeah.
I like freaky. I like a little freaky. They know me down there as freaky just at the trailer park. So if it gets to that point, then we'll see. Yeah. The Cowboys released Amari Cooper. Coop was due $20 million this season.
They traded him.
Traded him. Excuse me. Traded him to Cleveland. He was due $20 million this year. I guess the Cowboys saw like, nah, bro, we're not paying you that, whatever it's going to be. They re-signed Michael Gallup, 5 years, $62 million deal.
Yeah.
It basically works out to a 2-year, $27 million deal. But now when you look at what the Cowboys are offensively, this has always tried to be an explosive offense, right? Last year the term was, we're going to aggressively take what the defense gives us. And life is much easier and much manageable when you have a legit true number one, which I think Amari Cooper is. But now that he is gone, you lucked up a couple years ago in the draft and CeeDee Lamb fell to you at 17, something like that.
Sounds right, yeah.
Around 17, and you took him. And I get it. I understand it. He falls that. This is a guy who's supposed to be a top 10 pick, fall to 17, probably wasn't the highest on your board at that particular pick, but you said, can't pass, can't miss talent. You slapped 88 on him.
Yeah. Yep.
He didn't even want 88.
He didn't want it, yeah.
He didn't even want 88. You slapped 88 on him. And we all know that there's a legacy that goes along with, wearing the 88s, the double 8s. And then you partner him with Amari, and you partner him with Michael Gallup, who was a deep threat for your team. Now you're down Amari Cooper. Michael Gallup has a new deal, who's coming off a injury that usually takes about a year to kind of fully recover from. All eyes are looking at CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup last year, the time that he played, he was the second most kind of on the single receiver side. So basically he was the X receiver. And in the way that we learned the game, Nate, was the X receiver was your best receiver,
right?
Lined up on the ball and was the guy. The league has changed. It's more of a slot game now. Your best receiver a lot of times will play in the slot, play all around. Is Michael Gallup in the current state? Now he'll be back in July, August from the ACL injury, I guess.
Well, they're not sure he'll be back for training camp or even the start of the season.
I'm telling you.
Is this a guy that you're looking at and say that Michael Gallup can be? And I got into a little, I didn't get into it, but one of my friends and former Cowboys, Philip Tanner.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Who was teammates and worked here, teammates of mine and worked here when Michael Gallup first got here. He is a staunch believer that Michael Gallup is a legit number one wide receiver. I want to know, what do you guys think? And if he is a number one and he becomes the number one, what does that say about CeeDee Lamb?
I don't think we've seen him yet be that number one talent. Maybe he hadn't had the opportunity. Maybe that's part of it. But I think you drafted CeeDee Lamb 17th overall. You want him to be your number one, I would think. So I don't know. Maybe it's they're trying to set up 1A, 1B, kind of like they were hoping to do with Cooper and Lamb, or Cooper and Gallup as well. So, but he's injured, and you don't know what. And he was injured before that. You don't know what you're going to get out of Gallup.
I don't even see why we're talking about it.
We got it. He's a Cowboy.
Yeah, but that don't mean you have to talk about him. We ain't talking about the left guard or the center. They're more important right now than those guys because they're physically able to play. CeeDee Lamb has to rise up, and you have to, in order to become a number one, you have to have the opportunity to show that you are a number one or not a number one. You have to give these guys. We knew Amari coming from the Raiders, who he was, what his potential was. We don't know what CeeDee Lamb and Gallup's potential is, and is the offensive coordinator, head coach, going to give him these opportunities? Because if you get the opportunities, then you can prove. I remember 3-4 years ago when the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers was talking about Devontae Adams. He said, man, I got a young receiver I really, really like. I need him on the field. Mm-hmm. And now every time he touched the field, he changed the play and made sure this guy got the ball so he could become have that opportunity to be a number one. Will we give either one of these guys, Gallup or CeeDee Lamb, an opportunity to be, or are we going to aggressively go somewhere else? See, you can't have it both ways. And I keep telling people, I never had a problem with Dez wanting the ball. I just had a problem with him learning coverages and routes. Mm-hmm. Never with him wanting the ball. Yeah. You see, everybody think that's so cool to run around and the guy don't want the ball or the guy don't seem to want the ball. Well, we done lost that guy. Are you going to give these next two guys the opportunity to see if they're number ones? We don't know because they've never had the opportunity. And for the last 3 years, we've not given nobody that opportunity.
Yeah. Did you see that tweet from, I think, R.J. Ochoa? It said that Cooper was here, 3 years or whatever, and he was targeted 10 or more times in a game, 14 times. This last year, Cooper Kupp was targeted 14 times in one season. So
Cooper Kupp or Amari Cooper?
No, Cooper Kupp.
Oh,
overall,
gotcha.
Amari Cooper was targeted 14 times, targeted 10 or more times in 14 games over the last 3.5 seasons he was here. Kupp was targeted 14 times just last season alone. So they basically saying they're getting the ball in their playmakers' hands where our guys.
And I also saw a stat when you talk about the win rate, and again, I don't get all into analytics and all that kind of stuff, but it talked about, and most people will say Devontae Adams is probably the best up there as the best receiver in the league. And they said that the win rate of getting open, that Amari Cooper got open just as much, equal to the amount of times Devontae Adams was open. Just pure getting open. Running a route and get open. Is he open? Same thing.
Yeah.
And one guy is a 120-something catch guy, over 100 catch guy, and 14, 15, 1600 yards, yards guy, and multiple touchdowns. The other guy, 63 catches, 800-something yards.
All that's good and well. And I agree with you, and it sounds good on this show. But still, all we left with now is two guys. One is coming off injury that may not play until the 6th or 7th game of the year. And then when he plays, we got to be wary that we don't overwork him so he don't re-tear up something else. Because normally when you come back and you rush, you wind up blowing something else up. Mm-hmm. So you got to be real careful with this guy. I don't care, and we have the best over there. We have the best trainers, best staff, and they even know you got to be careful. So you're going to miss most of next year with Gallup. Are you going to give CeeDee Lamb and whatever else receivers those opportunities to prove who they are? You got to give guys an opportunity to prove who they are.
Now, let me ask you this question. From a quarterback perspective, how does Dak feel about that?
Well, I would hope they ran it by him. I'm not saying he's part of the decision process, but I think he would be part of the
evaluation.
What?
I'm gonna give you the analogy of how Dak feel about it. Is you and your wife in the living room, and your wife says, "Oh, sweetie, we're with kid," and y'all be talking about it, and then your other kid walk in and say, "What? Oh, you're gonna have a brother or sister?" And the kid say, Wow. When were y'all going to tell me? Do I have a decision? Oh, yeah, you have a decision. Okay. No, you ain't got nothing to do with that.
Nothing to do with it?
No, Amari, Dak ain't got nothing to do with it.
Really? You think if Dak had stood on the table and said, we got to keep Amari, you don't think it matters?
And they would have stood on the table and said, you're going to give up half of that $40 million to this $20 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
But what is that? Where does that take Dak as far as mentally, right? Because you're saying to yourself, man, we struggled the second half of the year trying to generate offense with all of you guys.
Yeah.
Where does that now take? Because Gallup got hurt the last game of the season. Or was that playoff game? What game? It was a home game.
It was just like second to last, something like it was towards the end.
So, if Dak is saying, man, I would love to run it back with you guys, or, we didn't have a really good second half of the year.
Yeah.
And I had 3 fully healthy guys. Now I'm out one, and the other's coming off an ACL.
Yeah.
Where do you think he sits at in the mental part of it, of saying, I got to make this work?
Yeah, well, then I would think he'd be a little frustrated then, right? Or he's probably saying, get me a receiver in the draft, which does that now change some of their philosophy there?
But where do you get this? And receivers?
You got to understand. You see, I love how you just focal, and you're a wide receiver, but you got about 20 guys over there saying it was an offensive line problem. I'm serious. You got guys who are saying, "Oh man, if the offensive line would have played better, it don't matter who the receiver is. We could have made things happen."
But we saw that story when the offensive line wasn't. When you had Travis Frederick, when you had who went out with the gear.
The center.
That was Travis Frederick. You had Frederick. You had
the butcher.
You had
the left tackle.
The left tackle. You had some pieces in there.
You had Lyle.
Yeah. And then you had wide receiver by committee.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. It didn't work. The bottom line is this right here. Dak controls what he does, and that's on the field, his work habits, being with guys around him. He's good at that. They're not coming to Dak. When it's time to make some moves on some players, the money, if it's a $2 million here, $5 million here, hey Dak, who you like? Oh, I like Nate, I like Jesse, I like Kurt. But it's $20 million, we doing what we got to do. Dak, this is what we got to do, son.
Yeah.
They kind of telling them, yeah, sister girl pregnant. And we doing what we got to do. That's how it is.
Does this become an indictment on Dak Prescott next year if this offense isn't a prolific offense? If they're not winning games?
He'll take some blame, I'm sure. I mean, if we're going to kick McCarthy out the door and Kellen Moore for not having a good team around him, then you got to think Dak's going to take some criticism too.
Oh, yeah. But I'm telling you, this thing is big because I can go get 4 or 5 guys sit right there and say, man, but if the offensive line would have played better, or you would have saw. But me and I believe this: you can have an above average offensive line, and Coach Philman did not. I feel, and this Nate, I haven't been over there, I haven't asked anybody, but I feel that you didn't fight enough to have some runs in there because your offensive line had to back up, and after a while, it backed up to the point where it was beat down. Mm-hmm. And they had no recourse. And when you tried to run the ball, it was terrible because you never did it early enough to give them a chance to do their manhood. And I ain't saying they ain't men. Don't take – but you can't get beat up. And Coach Philman, for the great job he did 2 years ago, I don't think that he fought hard enough for these guys this year. I mean, Connor, our left guard, okay, yeah, he ain't great. But what we saw last year compared to the year before, that was terrible. As the year went on, he got worse, and worse. And that kid still he's an average offensive lineman. He wasn't even that the last 2 or 3 games. That's coaching, man. Well, that's coaching. You helped him lose his confidence.
So knowing that the offensive line needs work, again, is it a problem now that a lot of people are saying, well, you got to focus, you need a wide receiver in the draft now. You got to go after them.
If you go out and get a wide receiver, that means you have told me that there was no offensive lineman in the first round. And if there's no offensive lineman in the first round, do not move up to get down. Don't do. That's the worst thing you can do. Move up for a sorry offensive lineman. That will haunt you for a lot of years. So if they're not there, I'm good with that. But if it's someone in the second round or the third round, you draft, because I am telling you, I saw it with Tony Romo. You paid him, and you never fully went and got an offensive line until he was broke. And when he was broke, you got an offensive line, and here come Dak to pounce on the situation and Zeke. Don't do that. If you're going to let Dak get broke and then you say, oh, we better hurry up and get offensive line 2 years from now, it's over. It's over. Agree? Disagree?
No, I agree with you.
A wide receiver is not going – a wide receiver in the draft right now is not going to do Dallas any good. That's just my belief. Because CeeDee Lamb failed us, but the reason CeeDee Lamb truly matured as quick as he did because he had Gallup and he had this other beast out there to the right.
Yeah.
If this kid would have had to come in by himself, like a lot of first-round picks have to do, come in because you are fixing a major problem. You think the little bit he do know? Because remember, we talked about it all during the offseason, how they all worked together at Dak's 50-yard deal. Do you think CeeDee Lamb would have been exploded without these 2 other guys? I don't think so. I really don't.
No, I definitely do think having that veteran leadership.
Yes.
It helps you out significantly to have a guy in the room who's done it, who's been a high draft pick, who's been around the league for a while, and now is able to come in and kind of give you the ropes of what's happening and what's going on. The same thing with Michael Gallup. He had been here for a little while, so just having that. And then the pressure is for him, I have these 2 studs on the outside of me. I can kind of go do my own thing. Yes. Don't forget about me because they don't really know me. And I can go and ball out.
How big of a adjustment is that just mentally going from a number 3, number 2 up to a number 1, taking on that role?
It won't be hard for just me talking. Just me. CeeDee Lamb have seen it. He's experienced a little bit of it. He did it a little bit in training camp. And the great thing about it, he did it all during last training camp. And then we had that little clip when Amari finally came back. He over there still learning. Because Amari shook that dude, remember? And Amari said, this is how I did it. This is how I set this up. So he has the knowledge. Now will he put in the work?
It's not only that. It's a different beast when you're circled. When they go into when the DBs go into the meeting and the defense going to go into the meeting room, and they say, "Hey, we got to stop this person," because a lot of times you have to. With the way our offense was set up, you kind of almost had to pick your poison and say, "Hey, we're going to really stop him. We're going to try to contain him, and we're going to do our best with him." But now, when you become the centered focus point, that makes, because now you get Jalen Ramsey, now you get C.J. Jackson. Now you get A.J. Terrell. You get Xavier Howard. That's the guy that you get now.
Yeah.
You don't get the guy that's behind the guy or the guy behind the guy behind the guy no more. You don't get that guy. You get the guy who is the guy.
Right. And
they're saying, and will you win some? Sure. But to have that everyday matchup, and then sometimes have that everyday matchup, that every game down matchup, and then have that safety over top too, you have to have and that's the thing, is just you have to have a level of route running ability to, one, defeat the guy that's guarding you, the Jalen Ramseys of the world, and then you have to have another set of skills to win in the route tree, because the windows are already small, but they become even smaller when you get a better defender on you. And the safety is prowling over top, and the linebacker is underneath. All that kind of stuff comes to play, and it makes it a lot more difficult to work with. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, and we got all season long, Nate. Me, you, Kurt, and Shannon got all year long to figure this thing out. But you guys don't have all year long because we're heading to a break, and then we'll be out of here after that. So stick around, stay with us. We'll talk about Lawrence refusing his pay cut, around the NFL, that other bad man decided to come back. Mm-hmm. Your boy's a prophet. Mike's a prophet. Michael Irvin's a prophet because Michael Irvin said, it's different. You be the boss for 22 years on the field, but you ain't the boss at the house. So we'll talk Tom Brady return and some signings around the National Football League. So stick with us. Come right on back. Hanging with the boys.
Brace yourself for an existential question. Has your butt been having enough fun lately? Have you been treating it well? Has it been going places? If not, then it's about time you start using SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best way to get your butt tickets to live events. Just ask the thousands of other butts who have rated it the #1 ticketing app. So what are you waiting for? Download the app now or visit SeatGeek.com to get tickets to sports, concerts, and live events and make your butt happy. SeatGeek. Get your seat in a seat.
How great would it be to travel to watch the Cowboys win on another team's turf? Pretty great. But honestly, just watching the game from anywhere but your house would be fun. Even a hotel bar with some guy named Phil from St. Louis who thinks Oakland still has a team. So whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
At AT&T, everyone, new and existing customers, get our best deals on every smartphone. Why? Because you deserve it. We're turning your living room into your office and your gym. We're teaching Grandma how to video call and teaching her again.
It's the button on your left, Nana. Okay, your other left.
It's not complicated. Everyone deserves something new. So AT&T is giving everyone, new and existing customers, our best deals with every unlimited plan on every smartphone, even the latest ones.
AT&T may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Restrictions and exceptions may apply.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Welcome back to Hanging with the Boys. We're in our final hour. I'm going to give some shout-outs. We're going to go through things, but this segment is brought to you by the Cowboys Taco Fest. This is right up your alley right here, Nate. Ooh. Miller Lite proudly presents the first Cowboy Taco Fest at Miller Lite House at AT&T Stadium on Saturday, May 7th. That's right after Winco, celebrating Cinco de Mayo, the world-class Cinco de Mayo with world-class tacos, drinks, live music, and more. Take advantage early bird pricing with tickets as low as $15. Visit SeatGeek.com, the official ticket provider for AT&T Stadium.
Let me say something, man.
You like tacos?
You put me in your little commercial, man.
You don't like tacos?
And I sure hate that. I resemble that.
Tacos are overrated to me.
No, they're not.
Oh, come on.
Oh, no,
Okay, now Nate's going to fight.
No,
yeah. Now you're really going to make people mad.
I've had them in Mexico. I've had them in California.
You must have not had them at Taco Bell.
Well, okay.
Because they are great.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying what I eat.
Thank you for making my point legitimate. If you're putting Taco Bell on that pedestal, I know that I'm right.
That's the cheapest gas right now.
That is the cheapest gas. That is the cheapest gas right there. Taco Bell, Nate.
I'm just telling you, man.
You're both.
See, Jesse, you one of them guys that forgot that, you went to college, you got out of college, you was in the pros, you was a security guard, and you forget them late night snacks you used to be going to get.
Listen, I have not forgot.
I have
not. I used to steal.
Your taste buds, they got a little better.
As a security guard, I had the master key, so I used to patrol this area called the Tobacco Roadhouse in Durham, North Carolina. It's right across the street from the Durham Bulls Stadium. So this entire little Tobacco Row House place, it was an old tobacco warehouse that they gutted and made into an office building, but like kept the historical bricks on the outside.
Right.
So I had keys to everything.
Right.
Uh-oh.
So I used to go into the offices, and all the offices, sleep on the couch, raid the refrigerators. I was eating folks' lunch left and right. They would probably cuss the folks out the next day, like, I know I had a whole, I was drinking their juice.
They're yelling at the guy in the next queue.
Yeah, I was like what's this?
Instead of gaining weight.
Man, I still trained, though. I still trained in the morning. I still trained in the morning, but I was eating them snacks at night.
Right.
If you left something good in there, now if you was already eating it, I don't play like that.
Right.
But if there was like a,
fresh,
if there was a Hungry Man dinner in there, or lasagna or something like that, Karen, that's mine now.
I'm a hungry man.
Mike, that's mine now, brother. I'm taking. And there was a restaurant at the bottom. I used to go in. The only thing about that restaurant, I'm not gonna lie to you. I used to go in there at night when the lights were still off, and you hear them little critters running around there. That scared me a little bit. I used to go in there and steal cheesecake from the little refrigerator. Man, woo. It's a good time. Shout out to Tobacco Row House and Ally Barton Security for employing me and letting me steal food from those offices. Just quick update around the National Football League. A quarterback has signed. With the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm happy about it.
3 quarterbacks have signed.
Yeah.
Re-signed, new sign, new sign.
Yeah.
New trade.
Mitchell Trubisky, former Tar Heel.
Oh, that's the connection. That's why you like it. Okay.
Yeah. I think – here's my thing on Mitch. And mother don't want you to call him Mitch. Mother wants you to call him Mitchell. But here's my thing on Mitch. People give Justin Fields a pass because they say how bad Matt Nagy was as a quarterback / offensive coordinator. I'm like, cut my boy the same slack. Because Nagy had him too.
Yeah.
So cut my boy some slack, and I hope that he gets to go to Pittsburgh and be with Mike Tomlin, and he turns his career around.
He got a good coach now.
This is one thing I do know, is the Steelers are going to look at this kid and say, this is what he can do, this is what he can't do. And they got a running back, and they're going to run the ball. They're going to protect this kid, and they're going to give him throws early in the game. That's going to protect this kid. Now, as the season go on, they're going to expect him to grow. And I think this kid will be ready, because one thing you don't like as a player, if you got some grit to you, you don't like to be slapped in the face like he was. Mm-hmm. He was slapped in the face, first-round pick, pretty decent kid coming out of college.
And he'll never be able to get over the fact that the Bears moved up.
Right.
Past Deshaun Watson, past Patrick Mahomes, to grab him.
That's right.
And then you look at it now, you're like, he's always going to have to face that. So unless he starts winning some championships, it's always going to be that the Bears moved up past the great Patrick Mahomes and a really good player in Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Talk about 2 other quarterbacks that got signed. Russell Wilson gets traded from Seattle to Denver.
Is he
crazy?
No. See, you have always heard me. I don't care where Aaron Rodgers go. I don't care where Tom Brady go. It's going to be success.
Yeah.
Now, and I've always ragged on Russ, but is he the man? Because now they've given up the world for you. Ain't no excuses. Jesse, Kurt, is he the man?
He's got a good team around him, doesn't he?
I didn't ask that. I did not ask that, Kurt. I asked, Tom Brady is the man. Right. Aaron Rodgers is the man. Is our boy Wilson, is he the man?
I think I'd put him quite in that category.
I think he's a
Yeah, I wouldn't put him quite in. I mean, because was he the man in Seattle last year? I mean, I don't know if he's.
Here's my thing. I just think when Russell was picked, because he had a no trade clause in his contract, so he could have vetoed any trade that was happening. Why would you decide? And then I know I'm out of the game, but I'm still a competitor, and I get the competitive nature.
Right.
You got to face Patrick Mahomes twice a year, Justin Herbert twice a year, Derek Carr twice a year, and that's just in your division.
Yeah.
You still got to go through Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Mac Jones. I feel like I'm still missing some people.
Yeah, you are.
You know,
the AFC is
now Mitchell Trubisky. I hope Lamar Jackson when he comes back healthy. I just think like your path to the Super Bowl, bruh, it changes from being in the NFC to the AFC, and the AFC is I didn't even think about Matthew Stafford. Is lit. Of all the play, I'm like, did you survey the landscape and say this is the place you want to go with all the quarterbacks that are in that division that you have to compete with week in and week out? So I mean, I think he's the.
I don't know. I think he likes the team he's going to have around him, and he's a competitor, like you said. He wants to show that he can run with those guys.
Yeah, sometimes run. I would have put a
LeBron James like he did his first 7-8 years. He wasn't leaving the East. He knew that was an easy route.
That was an easy route to the playoffs, to the championship.
Yeah, he had to play hard until he got in the finals.
Just thank goodness he didn't accept that trade to Washington. That would have been
better.
Well, for him and not for us. So.
No, not for us. No.
So he's and you got him where? Is he the man or is he?
No, I think he's just below the man.
Okay.
He's kind of
he's the ma. Well, I'm saying he's the ma. I'm saying he's the.
I guess so. I mean, he's not in the top tier, but he's kind of that next rung.
Okay.
I mean, you look at AFC, like where does he fit? I still think Patrick Mahomes is the standard in the AFC.
Yes.
I think Josh Allen falls right under him.
Yes.
I like this Herbert kid,
Herbert's
man.
Good, yeah.
I think this kid is about to be the ish.
You ain't even talking about the quarterback that made it to the Super Bowl.
It's got Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Like where does Russ fit in that? In the order of operation.
Mm-hmm.
So
you in church, boy.
I'm preaching.
Oh, Church loves Herbert. Has lost money on Herbert against Burrow.
I think this kid has something unique, man. He's getting ready. He got his receivers back. They just signed Mike Williams, so that's going to be that's going to be a killer. Another guy that the Seattle Seahawks released was Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
Is there a chance?
Looks
there
like a no from Nate.
There's a relationship there with Dan Quinn back when he was with the Legion of Boom. Is there a chance?
I never buy into the, I'm going to take a discount to go with this guy or that guy. I mean, in the end, I think it's the money talks. No, I don't know if the Cowboys want to spend a bunch of money on an aging linebacker.
Before we go there.
Okay. An aging linebacker that led the league in tackles last year.
That's true. I mean, he's good. He's good.
Before we go there, y'all don't want to talk about the man who re-signed at quarterback. Y'all just forgot about the man in town.
No, we knew that was going to happen. Tom Brady signed. Tom Brady came out of retirement and signed back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give the man his respect.
While we're on quarterbacks, does that Wentz going to Washington worry you at all?
He ain't even. He ain't even.
Well, I know he's down.
What is he? Just give him.
He's not even a top 10 quarterback, but I'm just saying the fact that they might have a guy.
What's the name of the Washington team?
The Commanders.
That's just how much I think of him. I'd have forgot their last name. Yeah, that's what I think of him.
He's tiered on that gooch line. He's not all the way quite the booty juice yet. He's in the gooch though. He's in the gooch. Line. He's in the gooch line. He's in the gooch line. And when he left Philly, because sometimes
when he left Philly, I had high hopes.
I did too.
I had high hopes.
Because I thought to myself, all right, this guy was before the injury, he was an MVP candidate.
Yeah, he was right there.
And I'm like, that has to be somewhere still left in him.
Right.
I thought, okay, I'm reunited back with my boy, Frank Reich. He going to get my mind back right, get me back where I need to be because he knows me. It goes to your point, Nate, Kurt, when you don't believe in sometimes the coach, relationship that might get you out of there. And then he went to the Colts and
and your boy said no more. His man, Frank said, my window is open. My window is open.
He made a fool of me.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, I have no hope. I have no hope that he's going to come in and be anything.
They're going to hand that ball off. He's going to hand the ball off to Gibson.
He'll be better than Heineke, I think. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think he'd be better. Maybe.
We talked on the last show on the Players Lounge that the Washington Commanders winning the Super Bowl actually went down when they signed Wentz. Like their odds.
I think so. Wow.
The odds went down to win.
Wow. Hey, well, tell me that now since we this last guy y'all talked about, wow. But you know what? Wagner is a year older. Yeah. He can't cover like he used to. and I don't think he can rush the passer like he used to. Now, Coach Quinn and some of his guys probably can text me and say, Nate, you don't know what you're talking about, and then I'll be happy.
I mean,
I'll be happy. But I don't think
31?
Yeah, but he 31 and I'll use 31.
32 by the time.
Yeah, that's like going out buying
He could be like a Honda though.
Bro, it's like going
That
out buying
Honda
a
run,
20.
though, Nate.
It's like going out buying
But
a
Nate, it could be a
2020.
used Honda.
It's like going out buying a 2020 BMW, but in 4 years you don't put 100,000 miles.
But if it's a Honda,
you play him in the middle and play Parsons at the weak.
well, you could do that, and that gives you more ability if you're not going to bring back Tank. I can use Micah as the linebacker.
Yep.
I can use Micah as the
On the
rush in.
outside.
Boy, don't
Just-
break down.
You can
We
get
gotta
as
bring back
creative
Tank.
as you want. You can get it. Wagner will turn into an average dude if they don't get no horses up front. I promise you now.
Okay.
He's at that stage in his career because one thing I think that coach at the Seahawks, he loves his defensive players. And,
Pete Carroll.
and Pete Carroll loves these guys. And Wagner is one of his. If it was just time to go, man. And money was too much. Money was too much, bro. And he's not an average player. He's smart. He's savvy. He's still got some kick to him, but not as much as everybody
I think he
thinks.
can definitely contribute. It's just to how long and how much is it going to be?
Yeah, there you go. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Well,
Is he the man?
He made $84 million, so maybe you will take a. I mean, that's a lot of money.
that's a lot of money.
All I'm saying is y'all did not give my boy the man call, and I hate that.
Are you calling
Y'all
him?
didn't
Are
get
you
it.
calling him the man?
No, sure not.
So why are you getting on like calling him the man?
Because you're supposed to know more when it comes to quarterback.
Then that's why I'm not giving him the man call. There's still some things that he got to prove in Denver. But we are all the men, and our time here as men has come to an end. So
When Peyton went there, you knew some great things was going to happen. I just don't feel that same way. When Peyton went to Denver, I'm like, yeah, boy, they in the top 3. I ain't feeling that about Russ for some reason. I'm not.
Well, he said he's Mr. Unlimited, so we're going to find out just how. I know Sierra got to be sick, though. She's like, I'm trying to get back to New York, or I'm trying to get to L.A. or back to Atlanta, and you keep detouring me. Now I got to go to cold Denver. Jesus Christ! But Sierra, if you ever get cold and want to come stay in Texas, you can. I'm just saying, I'll just keep you warm until while Russ is playing.
Stop.
That ain't a trailer park girl there. You better watch
That
out.
ain't no trailer park. That's fine wine and limousine right there.
Jesse was doing a hell of a job hosting. Now he went off the rails.
Let me get out of here. Before I go, shout out to my guy, Val Martinez from Harlingen. I've been to Harlingen a couple times. Last time I went to Harlingen, I won't tell you about that. Went to Harlingen a couple times. It's the Rio Grande Valley, man. He said he's a big fan of the #1 show. Keep up the hard work, guys. So, my guy Val from Harlingen, we appreciate your love, man. To Kurt.
Yes, sir.
To Nate. To Chris back
But they not give my man Russell the man call.
You didn't even.
Wow,
to Chris
man.
back in the booth holding us down, to bro Will trying to sabotage us every single week, to everybody else that's involved. I am your boy Jesse Holly. This is Hanging with the Boys, and we'll see you next week. We out.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!